This is the resistance.
What's up, everyone? This is Hitman with the Worldwide Resistance Network. If you are watching this, you are the Resistance. The Roundtable, of course, is brought to you by Nut Monster Blue, the fictitious product that doesn't actually exist because we are funded and supported by you. You are the Resistance. Hence why I have always said, if you're watching this, you are the Resistance, and hence why Alex Jones now uses it as he straight jacked my satire, man. It makes me sad. So now I put fun of his methylene blue and call it Meth Monster Blue. Even though I will say, his methylene blue does freaking wonders for me. I will do a plug on that another time. But I will say this, I poke fun at the guy, but he's on point. And the methylene blue in particular, even though I poke fun, has done me wonders. But again, back to the point at hand, we are crowdfunded. So if you like this broadcast, by all means, like, follow, and share all that fun shit. Hit the notification bell on YouTube if you want to keep YouTube's evil algorithms away and fuck up their algorithm. And make sure that you are actually notified when we go live. That way I don't have to sit there and text all my fucking friends like, hey, we're going live.
Excuse me.
Hence one of the reasons why we're 15 minutes late. Because I take it to that extreme and I let my friends know. It's like, hey, we're going live. Like my buddy Raul, who made the Rabbi butt plug. Yes, the Zionist butt plug. And I said it. Let's go ahead and get it out of the way. I see Connor in the background just jamming to it. He's just like, yeah, he's rocking out.
It's a great bit, man. It's a great bit.
It is a great bit, isn't it?
It's shocking and thought-provoking.
It is very thought-provoking, and we will get into that in a second. Let me just finish wrapping up with the plug.
Yeah.
Not that plug. Not that butt plug. But yeah, if you like this broadcast, be sure to share the live feed. Hit the notification bell on YouTube. Follow us on at RealTWBRN and on YouTube, X, and Rumble. Check out our online store for great merchandise. Makes a great Christmas gift, a great conversation starter. Got the TWRN logo in the back on a lot of our merch. The Flower of Life shirt, the Charlie Kirk, the Truth is Louder Than Bullets shirt, and more merch to come once we open the new store, which I am going to launch that after the new year. I just want to give everybody time to get their Christmas shopping in order because we've already got a few orders in. And I want to make sure that those orders are processed before we shut down the store and transition over to the new store. So go ahead, check out the online store. The prices for that store are set at the absolute minimum for your Christmas shopping. So again, check it out. Makes a great Christmas gift. Makes a great conversation piece at Christmas dinner so that you don't get in trouble for bringing up politics at the dinner table because somebody else did it for you. And as always, the round table is all-inclusive. It's not just me and Connor or Revan or whoever's on the stage here. It's you. So if you have any thoughts or opinions or just off-the-wall comments, leave them in the comments section. We have comments enabled. We can see them here on the stage, and we will bring you into the conversation. You are as much of the conversation as anybody else. And on this special holiday broadcast.
I'm sorry, I'm trying to read the shit on the bottom corner of my screen. I'm like,
Okay, it's Curse Zero. It says, this word box ain't big enough for the both of us. I want it all. I want it now. Guess I'll come back later. So he Zero was here. He bounced it out, and we know he'll be back.
always. So holiday broadcast?
It is a holiday broadcast, and just a FYI, starting next Saturday will be Saturdays 11 a.m. Central Time, I believe it is. Will be our roundtables. After that, Wednesday at 11 a.m. Central Time will be Tin Man TV. And I'm also in talks with a buddy of mine, Raul, who's come on to the podcast in the comments section. He and I are considering a comedic political broadcast.
That'd be nice.
Just satire, having fun, bullshitting, telling jokes, because this shit gets scary. It gets very fucking scary, so we need a little bit of levity in the mix.
Yes.
So he and I are considering that. We'll probably do just audio only while he and I are fucking off, hanging out at work or whatever. We'll figure that out as we go. So more information on that to come. But again, this shit gets very scary. That's one of the reasons why Connor and I were late coming to the stage. We were talking backstage and, just making sure everything was on the up and up with him, because there are so many things happening in Canada right now. Not just the Jack Kevorkian style, hey, if you want to die, come to our clinic and take this little cocktail and go night-night.
Oh, God. But flashing maids, man. You got to love the maids.
Yeah, exactly. There's a big thing about that, and it's actually happened in 12 states here in the U.S., too. One of your fellow Canadians was on Alex Jones yesterday talking about it, and she is a big, big proponent to it. She's fighting in your Canadian Parliament. She has had sit-downs with various political people in our country, has had Senate hearings and so forth. It's big. And not just that.
Is she pro or against?
She is a strong proponent. Would it be opponent or proponent? Opponent.
Does she like the idea or dislike the idea?
She hates it.
Oh, it's just because she's dumb. It's okay. We see, normally Canadians, we hide those ones and we just don't let them speak. But this one got out. We're sorry.
No, I'm actually all for her. She's a woman after my own heart, man.
No, that's good.
But yeah, she was on the Alex Jones show last hour. Let me bring that up. Oh, speaking of which, Jones is live. How about that?
Fucking get him
in. One of the things that me and my buddy were joking about was, maybe just doing satire on the Jones show, just offering color commentary.
Hey,
breaking analysis. Expert explains how physician-assisted suicide works in the U.S. She lays out the statistic, procedure, carryouts. Doesn't give her name.
That's mighty convenient, eh?
Yeah. Expert explains. Let's actually just share that real quick. We'll just share it, and we'll do a little play on it, and just a little touch base.
Hemlock and said, "You do it."
That's right. You have made in America. So the United States has adopted this killing ideology, and they call it physician-assisted suicide. So it's very clear to say it's not made in America. That is a term that they use in lockstep to just desensitize you to the idea of what it is. It's your doctors choosing to kill you. Now, physician-assisted suicide is really interesting in America, slightly different than Canada. So let's break it down. In America, we give you a cup with a bunch of poison in it, and we tell you here, you have to drink said poison. That poison itself does not happen in Canada. We actually
just like they did Socrates. They didn't kill him. They gave him the hemlock and said, you do it.
That's right. You have to devoid yourself of the responsibility. So I want to break down the states that are doing this, because originally it was 10 states and 1 jurisdiction. Now we are up to 12, and we have 2 new states on the board. So the first ones we are looking at are Hawaii, California, Colorado, Montana, New Jersey, New Mexico, Oregon, Vermont, Washington, D.C., Washington State, and the new 2 ones we've got on the board that just passed are Delaware and Illinois. Now, this is important to point out another fact I didn't state before. In a lot of these states, there is not a residency requirement. So technically, somebody could come from Texas, somebody could come from a red state and go to, say, Oregon or Vermont, and they could be killed there. And that will count towards their death count in those places. This is important because in America, your third leading cause of death is medical error. So how do you cover those up? Well, you euthanize them. And by euthanize, I mean it's physician-assisted suicide. They give you the drugs. Here is something terrifying for Americans to please pay attention to. Everyone says this is a quick, compassionate thing. It is not. We have deaths on record of 137 hours taking for you to die. Now, this is not a peaceful death. This is where the poison is swallowed. It corrodes your lungs, corrodes your throat and your esophagus, and often you start throwing up and convulsing.
And it's part of a larger dehumanized death cult. We need Trump to get educated on this and take this on head on, because if we'd have got ahead of the transgender cult, we would have saved all these people.
So, okay, not gonna carry on for the full.
No, that's fine. But that what she has just described, that needs to be illegal.
Yeah.
Because they said it wasn't similar to Canada, and she spoke the truth. So, my name is Mark Dwaron. I'm a Canadian citizen, so I'll tell you my name. I go by John Connor because it's just fun for me, really. But I'll give I'll give you the 411 on medically assisted suicide in the country. Okay, this is going to be hard for some people to grasp, and I can understand that because you're literally talking about the darkest stuff available. But I will try to open it with a form of levity that is not really comedic in value at all, but it will merely place your brain in the right position to maintain the thought process without vomiting. Okay, fair?
Yeah.
So I studied in college to be a veterinary administrative assistant, so to work with animals. And one of the discourses that takes place, one of the discussions that takes place in the collegiate levels, is the euthanization of a family pet. Yeah. So there's an entire level of tact that is required, because we have to understand that deep down inside, most families don't want to put their pet down. They just don't want to, and it's proper. But then we have the American problem that you guys have with your own healthcare. It's just, bro, like sometimes you just physically can't afford it. You can't afford the medical care, and it is not an issue or a situation to be taken lightly or to be mocked or joked. But it's very real. So we're going to take that very real reality and we apply it to the pets, where sometimes mom and dad, they physically can't afford to pay the $2,500 surgical vet bill. But what they can do, thank goodness for this, is that they can pay the $160 bill. They can afford that one, you see, and the veterinarian will put the animal to sleep, and they'll feel no pain. And observing this situation as a whole, we tend to extend a little bit more compassion to our pets than we do. Now, I would not extend this as far out to our family, but at least to ourselves. So, for instance, although I am pro MAIDs, which is medically assistance in dying, medical assistance in dying, okay, which is where a doctor gives you a hand, okay, which is, when she was explaining it, became very crude, because what she is explaining is that the doctor creates something dangerous and then gives it to you, and then you administer it to yourself. Whereas in reality, that 136 hours that she was referring to is a very real thing that could happen. It could just all go sideways and it just not work the way it was supposed to. And here you are now suffering and suffering and suffering and suffering. And if only if there was somebody smart enough out there that could have made the calculations a little bit more appropriate, and it would have been, well, you know, bang on, like it would have worked the first time around. So in order for it to have that person would have to be educated. They'd have to have a degree. My goodness, they'd almost need to be a doctor, wouldn't they? Right. So, but there, for a long time, it was illegal for you to go and cause bodily harm to yourself, as in like going to string up. In Canada, it's illegal to commit suicide, and it's illegal it was illegal for your doctor to do something that could lead to your death. So that takes euthanasia off the board, which is what we can do with cats and dogs.
And it's actually extending beyond things like the elderly. What they're actually proposing in the long run, not the short run, but you know, they did jump off the line running with the nos full in tow.
Yeah, because there's another big inaccuracy that they brought forward, like a huge one.
Yeah.
Which was it's your doctor's right to choose. That's not the case in Canada. The reality, though, is
they're talking about it coming to the United States. What's taking place in the United States in contrast to what happens in Canada.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like when they said that they're discussing a situation where your doctor is the final decision maker on whether or not the concept was framed and worded and sold to the public in the dark, not in the light. So yes, the doctor has the final say. So I'm not going to say like that particular statement was the lie, but I'm going to explain it to you like this. I have to go to a doctor and say, bro, I just can't do this no more. It hurts too much. Right. Okay. I physically myself have to go to the physician and say, yo, I tap, I'm done. I tap out. I want the thing, and we're going to start doing the paperwork, and I want the thing. The doctor can't say yes, and he can't say no, because the first thing he has to do is refer me to 2 psychologists. I now need to be evaluated by 2 psychiatrists to ensure that
you are of sound mind.
That this line of decision making is coming from a sound mind, or at least, and this could be the shady gray area of it all, or at least as sound as this mind can be in a healthy state. Yeah. Right. So,
but what she was alluding to in the long term, and this actually ran for the better part of an hour. I'll send you the feed, and you can review it later, and maybe do a video on it in your own time, and I'll repost it. But she was talking about, especially here in the United States, in the long run, not in the immediate, but in the long run, you know, several years, 2027, starting, they want to start with euthanizing kids who will award to the states. Like, okay, well, we're your ward. We decide what's best for you, and we're deciding that's what's best is for you to be euthanized. And then it transitions to people on disability and in situations like what you said with terminal illnesses. Yeah. And making that available, and in many cases, maybe mandatory. And many Democrats and even Republicans are on board for this because it, quote, saves taxpayer money. But again, you get back to the moral and biblical context of this.
Enduring to the end makes a lot more sense now, doesn't it?
Yeah. And, you know, you get a lot of variables that come into play. It's like, okay, well, I have a friend who's in a wheelchair. Does this person deserve to die because they're in a wheelchair, even though they have multiple degrees?
Yeah, but see, that's the thing.
I would argue against that. Does a child deserve to die because their parents were pieces of shit and got taken away by child services? Thank you, Bill Clinton.
Yeah, but see, the thing is that like it's being sold, like it's already sold to your government. Like it boggles my mind that your government would even consider it, because you're supposed to be the land of the home and the brave and the free. And that was the nature of what I was explaining, is that the actual policy in Canada is the citizen must ask the doctor for the help. Like it's by free choice. So in essence, you guys are coming right off the hop saying you have no choice and your doctor decides for you. But what if you can't afford a doctor and you don't have a doctor? Then who decides for you?
Some freaking social worker who just really couldn't give two fucks at the end of the day.
Right? Because to me, it makes no sense to go after the marginalized, the lower marginalized in an extermination ideology, because although electorally rigged, there's still democracies. And, well, at the risk of offending the viewership, if you kill the stupid, it's just going to be harder to lie to the intelligent then, isn't it?
Unless they're killing the intelligent in the name of killing the stupid.
Yeah, that would be a very, very scary day. Very, very scary day. But so, yeah, so going after the easy vote, like taking out the people that are already voting for you and require like the most limited amount of sway to get, there's some people are just easy to convince, dude. It sucks, but here we are.
And we're actually going to be covering that on Monday's episode of Tin Man TV. We got my buddy Wade from ringscoops.com coming on. We were initially going to cover the Vince McMahon Trump relationship, but in light of the recent elections that took place in California and other areas, I want to get a little more broader perspective, not just Revin, but, some other people, and get their feel for the environment of what's taking place in the aftermath of this vote, people who voted, how they feel, what's taking place on the political landscape there, all that. So we're going to cover that. If you want to join on that, that'll probably be about 6 o'clock your time, 4 o'clock my time. I'll double check that real quick. But getting back to the main topic, in terms of morality and even the religious connotations that you cited, there was another thing that took place in Canada recently. I don't know the finite details on it, but from what I understand, legislation has recently been passed in Canada to where, at least online, you cannot quote scripture, not just the Bible, but the Quran and other quote unquote holy writ.
Yeah, because they don't want me to go all Book of Mormon with the Talmud on their ass.
So you're the cause of this problem.
It's a simple idea, and if anybody took it seriously, they know that is the idea that will blow the top off of all of it. It's info. Have you heard of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? No. Okay. Well, I got this other book, and you start showing the Talmud. You go door to door. You go to door with some. And like we live in the future, man. Like you can print this off. You can make it look like a little book, right? It can look pretty.
Yeah.
Right? And you go door to door. And you hand it out, and you find the most disgusting verses, and you apologize at the end. Well, a small little paragraph at the end, because we have to be civil about these things. You apologize to the readership for what you've exposed them to, but that it is extremely important to the readership to understand during these holiday seasons that, like, your American tax dollars, mine too in Canada, I ain't fucking a saint on this one. But there's more of you guys in your country than there is in my country, right? So you guys and your tax dollars, well, you protect that. You protect that religious writing. And yet we ban all these other books that exist in other things, other ideologies. You guys ban all the literature that helps anybody make words into weapons to actually educate the population. It's not surprising to me, because it's funny that you caught the scripture one, but you didn't catch the news one.
Do tell the news one.
The news one is...
I'm in the States, you're in Canada, so there are going to be things that you're privy to that I may not necessarily be privy to unless somebody spreads that information.
Right, so this is what happened to Canada like a few years ago. We could Google it, you'll get the exact date. But there became a time in Canada, and it still goes today, is that if you see something on the news, like CTV News, and you want to share it to Facebook, you're not allowed to share the news on social media in Canada anymore.
Yeah, that actually happened here. Like a lot of people were sharing articles, and it was getting taken down as disinformation by fact checkers.
Yeah.
So just a form of censorship.
It's just
same with many prominent doctors regarding COVID-19 and the vaccines.
Yeah, that's when it happened. Actually, that's when it happened. It was during COVID and all so this is the problem, okay? Here's the problem that nobody ever fucking factored in, ever. Here's university in campus A, and here's university in campus B. And out of both of these campuses, some of the best doctors in the godforsaken universe were graduated out of. And every now and again, you're going to have doctor from campus A and doctor from campus B. They're not going to really fucking get along, are they? They're going to have opposing opinions. But their credentials and their papers and their everything they're valid. They're good doctors. So Dr. A presents pro-COVID information. Dr. B presents anti-COVID information. The population splits and goes behind Dr. A or Dr. B. And in social media, they're sharing articles from the doctor that they prefer to adhere to. And now that's called disinformation, you see.
Yeah.
But they were both credible individuals releasing information at the highest levels of their own professions, and some to their own detriment and others to their own glory. Yes. But so what they're doing is they're criminalizing opposing views. That's what they do. In essence, it's the government. It doesn't matter what the issue is. You're just not allowed to fight about it.
Yeah. But now it's elevated to a religious connotation. You can't even quote scripture online.
Well, no, because Jesus was a Jew. He saw his own, and his own received him not. No one wants to hear that anymore. That scares people. Because then the very next question, okay? And I've said it 1,000,000 times, and it's only starting to really sink for people now. It's only really starting to kick in. Jesus was a Jew. He taught his own received him not. Okay, who did he teach? Because afterwards, when he taught people and they didn't want to be Jewish anymore, I guess that's the point. That's Christianity is the religious escape for Judaism, and that's why we can't talk about it, because Jesus was a Jew. He taught his own, and his own received him not. That's cool. But see, there was a bunch of other people that totally received it. And they were like, I want more of this information. I want more of this. Who were those people? Yeah. Because they weren't Christians. Christians only became Christians after the resurrection, after all the good nonsense took place, and then people identified themselves as worshipers and admirers of Christ. Those are the Christians, the people that walked at the time, at best, that have been Muslim.
Yeah, and Zero points out net neutrality has occurred. We've covered this topic. But you know what? We can cover the same topics again and again and again if there's something new and relevant that's happening in the world. Well, it's our job as activists and part of the resistance movement to address it and point it out and even backtrack and say, this is what's happening, this is why it happened, and this is where it's going.
Well, the reason why I pound it so hard is that before all of these laws about not being able to talk about it online, which is all the more reason to talk about it online, but that's just me. Before that, in Canada, it's like very legitimately illegal to teach a woman what Zionism is. Like that is a law that is still on the books. That is right up there with you are not allowed to ride your car on the road because you're going to scare the horses. Like we have some laws that are still on the books that have never been amended and removed, and it's physically.
But now it can be weaponized.
But could be later be weaponized at all, for sure. But like it's
like
just
you post something on your Facebook that is anti-Zionism or informative about Zionism, and because there was a woman on your profile, even if you just have one female on your profile, like say your wife or your sister, you now go to jail.
Yeah, well, the reason why you're not allowed to teach that to the ladies, you see, is because ladies, they have this amazing ability, right? They kind of create humans. They're pretty nifty in that way, you see. And mom is God in the eyes of a child, you see. So if a woman has this information,
the truth, she'll teach the truth.
Yes, and if she teaches the truth to a boy, who in turn becomes a man, that could cause some fucking problems, you see, because we're seeing it right now in the American youth.
Yeah.
Now with so many extremisms, like don't just because I talk like it's all fucking erratic, and don't do that. But the American youth is now beginning to question like exactly how important is Israel really?
Yeah.
Right, because what's happened is not so many racist terms. Too many Muslims have come to the North American continent. Not the whole too many like we don't want them here. The too many as in there is so many of them that at least every Canadian has had an opportunity to have a conversation with a real life Muslim. Like they were able to reach out, touch them, shake their hands, ask questions about the head thing, and be like, I like your beard. And you know what I mean? Like it's real now. It's very real. And then like this Palestine thing, right? You got the Palestine thing going on. That's kind of upsetting, right? And now we know that Israel. And then we're like, well, what about Israel? And then we're like, wait, there's a bunch of these people here that don't even want to go to Israel. These are all like, what the hell kind of questions that we have to face.
Yeah, and
go ahead.
And you have a lot of these ideologies. You have a lot of these extremists that come over that are openly promoting the idea that they're here to overthrow Western culture. And even a lot of these groups like Jones would say that these political groups are primarily, Democratic, but as we've seen, there's also Republicans on this side who perpetuate this problem as well, is the destruction of the nuclear family, getting God out of culture, getting God out of the courtroom, getting God out of school, getting Christianity out of schools. You removing Christianity, and you remove prayer, you remove Christian clubs from the church, but now you've got prayer rooms in the schools. It's expansionist culture.
I'm going to tell you a big secret, and a lot of things are going to make sense real quick. Merry Christmas to everybody, because this is the kind of information that calls for bullets. So make no mistake about it. I'm not a fool. But do you guys actually want to know the funniest thing out there? I'll tell you the funniest thing is that Christian men, they're pretty convinced and determined that God's a man.
Yeah.
All good, right? And Christian women, they believe he's a man. Really wish he was a chick, right? And I can get on board with that. Like, it's like if God's a woman, I'd be fucking like, oh shit. And then like the ladies, God's a man. Oh shit. Well, the Talmudic teachings, and like we get into like Islam, where it's like it's not a man, and I think that's what Islam is like legitimately trying to teach us. Is be like, y'all are stupid, y'all are calling it a man, y'all are calling it a woman. You're just supposed to call it God. You're broken, not even allowed to return you to the manufacturer because they made that a crime. So I'm just going to go this way now, right? So they're trying to explain that the God, the Allah, it is like the most supreme being in the entire universe. We can't comprehend it. Okay, so I got that. Okay, so we got some believe that God's amazing.
Like Zero said, religious institutions, in particular, he said, let's be completely honest with ourselves. Religion is man-made. So let's say religion institutions. God, in whatever form. We can say it doesn't exist, but religious institutions are man-made, and that therein lies a problem.
So So the extremist Talmudic beliefs is that God's androgynous, that is not male or female, and that this whole like transgender nonsense and this mixing it all up and so on and so forth is just a barbaric attempt at humanity trying to look like God by becoming androgynous. And I ask you, whose God are we trying to look like here? Because I really like to fucking have the choice. Because I don't want to try and look like no androgynous motherfucker. And I'm okay with accepting that God might be a woman.
Yeah. And if God is not David Bowie.
Right? So when we wonder about where all these social ills are coming from, and it's like I said, you guys can find the speeches yourselves. I don't have to sit here and wear a hat and start fucking making funny hand signals and quoting some fucking Kanye West to get my point across. There's reasons why an entire nation tried to exterminate a very specific group of people. And it took me damn near 20 years to actually figure out why that guy decided that he had enough of this and he was just going to do whatever needed to be done. Now, see, now that I know why, because it took me a long time, I'm left with this one question. The one question everybody's going to have to fucking answer eventually. Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah.
And it's like, do I want the rainbow in the schools? Do I want all of that nonsense that comes with it? Do I want any? No, I don't. I don't. Right? Like there might be a bunch of people that share my view, and there might be a whole shit ton of even more that disagree with my view, and I can acknowledge that. But it's like, remember, it's not my view that shapes the world. So that's just me. Where it's like, I can get behind good old fashioned rebellious Christian children just doing things, but what I've been seeing in the world today is hard to get behind.
It is, and it's expansionist culture, whether it be Jewish Zionism, Muslims, or Christianity. In fact, I think it's probably the Buddhists and the Hindus who, in terms of the top religious theologies, that really just kind of keep to themselves. Like Native Americans don't push their ideology. Buddhists and Hindus keep to themselves. They don't push their ideology. But Christians, Muslims, and Judaism are the three biggest expansionist cultures. Muslims have expanded throughout history. Jews have tried to expand in a very unique way, and it's resulted in them allegedly being kicked out of 109 countries. And Christianity, that started in this little Middle Eastern country, has expanded the world over, with the exception of a small handful of countries. So to say that these groups are not expansionist would be a lie. But the big question is, can two expansionist cultures coexist and say, okay, the buck stops here. I'm not going to push on you. You're not going to push on me. I'm not going to come to your country and try to circumvent your shit, but you're going to agree not to come to my country and circumvent my shit.
Actually,
that really happen.
I believe that is possible, and I think, without exaggerating things, I think it's happening. Again, going back to my whole, there's too many Muslims. I think a big part of that too is spies, but in the very real term, no fancy nonsense here. Literally just having somebody on the ground reading newspapers, getting a feel of the overall sentiment and emotion of the communities. Okay, because I think that appeases a lot of great wars quite quickly. Is when the religious leaders can be like, yo, let's discuss here today what we're going to teach our flocks tomorrow morning, so that your flock and my flock have something to talk about at the water hole tomorrow, so that they can find common ground and they can build peace with themselves, right? So yes, religious leaders have always held a level of power, but always a level of power to the extent of how much people actually watch or listen or adhere to what they're saying. So that's kind of big. The other one is the big common thing that's happening is Christians and Muslims are beginning to shake hands because the truth of what's written in the Talmud, because of what's there. When you ask a Christian who Jesus is, they have an answer, a very defined, simplistic, to the point answer. We both have it memorized. That's Jesus. When you ask a person from the Islamic faith, they'll tell you that, just give me 1 second. They'll tell you that he was a prophet. So what I'm getting at here is that those of the Islamic faith, although the book may differ in areas and places, we're going to learn very quickly that the Islamic faith, acknowledges existence of Jesus Christ. So make sure that you understand this. We as Christians, we believe many things about Jesus, okay, depending on what denomination and so on and so forth, we'll decide who you are. Some will believe that Jesus is God, meaning like he is the God, the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, the whole fucking kit caboodle, buddy. Others will believe in a separate Trinity where God, Jesus, and the Holy Ghost are separate entities working together on one unifying platform, which is really not too fucking hard to comprehend. It makes sense to me. So we have acknowledgement of the dude. That's big for me. B, what is the opinion of the dude? Okay, so we've acknowledged Christ's existence, Muslims. Thank you so very much. What's your opinion of Jesus Christ? Oh, Jesus Christ, the Prophet Isa. Oh, greatest man next to Allah. The Prophet Isa, he returns in the end days. Do you not understand that he is important in the grand roles? Okay, fuck all the nonsense, bro. What I'm telling you is that Muslims acknowledge the man and put him in high regard. In high regard, they've placed him, and here's the important thing, they placed Jesus' importance above Muhammad. That of all the prophets that have come and walked the earth, that the prophet Isa is the greatest prophet at the highest levels, so much so that he is the one that's going to return to save us all. Okay, I've heard that story somewhere before. It's got a little hole here and there, but I can get behind this. What about the great Mother Mary? Acknowledging the virgin birth. Muslims do it. Okay, very important. It wasn't in manger, and it was the story, the Christmas story, very, very fantastical. The Muslim story, not so much. Muslim story, I much rather you guys take the Muslim Jesus' birth story with your heart than what we teach. Because I'll tell you this, according to the Muslims, Mother Mary was with child, was sent out to the desert, and she'd be like all fucking alone, and her water broke, and it'd be time, and there's nobody there. But Mother Mary's she's got the Savior in her in her body. Like, this is happening. Don't pretend like y'all don't know what childbirth is. That stuff just kind of goes down. Nothing you can do about it. So she needs help. She needs that real help, right? Help from above. So according to the Muslims, it's the Archangel Michael that comes down and stands beside Mother Mary as she delivers the Savior. Oh, she needs shade. The Archangel touches the ground, and a palm tree springs, gives her shade. She needs
so basically, according to the Muslims, Michael came down and acted as a midwife.
Yes, sir. And ushered the Savior of the world in himself. Yeah. So,
interesting.
Dude, the doctrinal similarities within the two religions are reasonably close. So when people ask me, could those two expansionist cultures, could those two coincide on the same land? I think we can do that in peace. I think that one's doable.
extremist, I would say, would probably be able to coexist. It's like, okay, what you do in your house is your business. What I do in my house is my business. But as far as the extreme expansionists,
so when we look inside,
you're going to convert to Christianity, or you're going to convert to Islam, or you're going to convert to this weird ass system because I'm a Zionist and I say so. And if you say anything against me, you're anti-Semitic. Would it be safe to say that that's where we are having our biggest problems?
Yes, that's what's happening.
People,
because Christianity and Islam have effectively shaken hands more often than not as of late, to the point to where like all of the Islamic nations around Israel right now, they've created this huge like political thing. Like it's a league of Arabs prepared to literally like help Israel with the if Israel decided to stop shooting tomorrow morning, and everybody says, well, where would the money come from to build the Palestinian area so that the Arabs would have a safe place to be? You have all the Arab neighbors that say, as long as you stop shooting, we'll start investing and we will give them what the world wants them to have so that they could be their own people. But the Israelis have never said that they would stop shooting, so the investments can't begin, and so on and so forth. And then I had to look into what the extremes of the other books were, and it's not just that the acknowledgement, in the Talmud, he's acknowledged, but he's not acknowledged in a positive light. Outside of the Talmud, he's a fictitious person, right? So certain people don't believe that Jesus was a person inside of that faith. So it's like, okay, so acknowledgement is shaky. Oof. And then how is he sold? Well, he's sold in the light of some sort of a sorcerer. He's sold like he's boiling in hell in human excrement. I can't sell it to you any darker than that, really. So
well, I mean, if that's what it says, that's what it says. I mean, how else? Yeah, I mean, you can't sugarcoat it. You can't turn the lights off any more than they're off.
Right?
I mean, just turn the lights on and show it for what it is, okay? Let's talk about the elephant in the room. Turn on the fucking light. There's the elephant.
So now the question is do I believe that the Islamic Christianity can coincide? Yes. Do I believe that this guy over here that doesn't even believe remotely any of this, do I believe that this guy has something to gain by making these two fight each other? Yeah.
So you're talking about the Zionist, or are you talking about maybe, say, like a Satanist, like maybe an Aleister Crowley type person, or
no, for as long
like a secret society from like Bohemian Grove or something like that?
Oh man, I don't even know how I would spice that cake, right? Because it's like pieces were like just kind of fomented here and there, and like all these seeds were sowed, and we didn't know what was going to mature and be good enough to use later, but it didn't really matter because as long as that worked and only that worked, I could use that tool. As long as that worked and only that worked, I could use that tool. And so if I go and I sow the seeds of discontent into like 10,000 nations, right? But I only need like 1,000 nations to make it work. As long as I get 1,000 nations to help me do what I got to do, then I could actually do a lot of chaos in the world. So I don't think that it was like a coordinated plan or effort to the highest levels, to the highest degree, because we're asking for human beings to cooperate entirely too perfectly. And we're not good at that.
So long as you get one idiot to run in there with a pipe bomb and scream Allah Akbar, everything's good, right?
Then they'll shape the narrative around it.
Until you got one Timothy McVeigh, you're good.
Until, and this is the thing, this is the timeline in which I don't know and you don't know and nobody really knows, is until eventually someone runs in and says Allah Akbar, and everybody else goes, yeah, we know, come on, tell me about it. And you'll be like, wait, what, huh? It's like once, and that's my whole like sending the spies in and feeling out the community and so on and so forth, helping appease war is what happens when the two societies are like, I get it now, which is what I think is happening like right now in real time, is at 9/11, we hell, fire, and brimstone. Like we went to war. You went to war. I think I sent a few buddies. I'm not sure, right? But like we did the thing that we did after 9/11, and it got real crazy. And we took out a bunch of Muslims, and we were allowed to say a bunch of atrocious shit about them in the process. Like, oh my God, the internet was not a safe place to be back then because you could say anything you wanted about the people of this faith, and like. There was nothing good about that. Like I'm not saying,
welcome to rotten.com. Say hello to Tub Girl.
Right? And so that's my point. Is that we could say, well, man, what we could do back then, right after 9/11, with that particular culture, and so, and then today now we're like, oh fuck, I'm sorry. Yeah. Like it's we're now eating our words, and it's like, oh my God, how could we be swindled in such a way? Because it's like, it wasn't that hard to figure out. Truthfully, I figured it out when I was like 19, 20 years old. I just had to stop and ask a few questions. And then I was like, yeah, but I wonder how many other people know this. And then I found out like next to nobody understands these little things. But now it's different. So, now the kids are in on it.
Yeah. So what would be your response to the things that are being said are happening in Europe? You have the allegations of, and there have been many reports and many documented instances where Muslims and Africans are attacking Europeans, stabbing babies, raping women, killing people on subways and buses. It's also happened in the United States, but in Europe in particularly, if you speak out against it, you're criminalized for it. And like here in the U.S., migrants are getting a get-out-of-jail-free card because of Soros DAs here in the West, and likewise in Europe. There's been a lot. We've heard a lot of documentation about that, like the Ukrainian girl on the bus here in the United States getting stabbed by that African American gentleman, stabbed in the neck repeatedly, and
oh fuck, it's going to be such an insensitive answer, and I'm so sorry, because all of it is it's atrocious. It's fucking horrible. And I thought, like deep down inside, I thought it was against the law to like racially profile criminals. Right. So, yeah. And when I say that, you all be, yeah, it's totally against the law. We're not supposed to racially profile anybody. No. It can't be. No. We don't racial. No racial profiling. Right. It's against, right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Why the fuck are you letting criminals out of jail based on their racial profile? Oh, I feel so bad. I don't want this kind of person behind bars. Did he hurt somebody? Yeah. Then why do I give a
crime? Yes.
Color he is? Why do I care what God he prays to? Why do I care what fucking country he comes from? Did he hurt somebody? Yes. Why is he not in jail?
Yeah.
Why is it that when white America goes out and hurts somebody, they get locked the fuck up? But it doesn't matter what other race or religion that you choose to. Oh, well, we can't pull them over because of a certain color. I know you can't pull them over for a certain color. You're not supposed to pull them over for a certain color. They're supposed to be committing a crime so that you can then say, I put criminals in jail, not racial minorities. You got to put criminals in jail, regardless of what they look like.
Exactly, but in the Western countries, whether Europe or Canada or the United States, it's, we have to show biased favoritism towards these minorities. And if somebody speaks out against it, well, then you're racist and you go to jail. You got these extremist things happening, and they get out of jail. But the group that ate bacon in front of praying Muslims in Florida, they got in legal trouble for that and were charged with alleged hate crimes for eating bacon. Like, they didn't force these people to eat bacon. They didn't force the Muslims who were praying to eat bacon. They were just being dicks. Granted, they were being fucking dicks. But did that warrant a criminal offense?
Yeah.
Did that warrant criminal and or civil penalties?
Well, see, that's where that's legitimately why we have lawyers. Like, that's where the arguments have to be made, and very appropriately, because that's fucked, right? Because it's man, but see, that's right up there with the man praying in front of the abortion clinic.
Soros paid, and they're not being removed, and that's one of my biggest grievances with the Trump administration and Todd Blanche and Spam Bundy, is that why are these judges who are knowingly obstructing justice and being politically, racially, and ethnically biased with their legal authority not being removed on the grounds of violating their constitutional oaths?
Who's going to remove them? The person that's going to remove them would have to be. Say, this is the problem. The American government has found itself in one of the largest catch-22s ever. You now have to question the credibility of those whose job it is to question your credibility.
Yeah.
So in order to approach somebody like that, the individual, it's Jesus. You need Jesus in your life, okay? Because the person approaching
and Ariana Grande, Bible and a cheeseburger,
right? They have to be without reproach. So this is the problem: is that one person is saying this, and then to discredit what that person is saying, another person is saying something to discredit that person, and then, well, to discredit this person, we're going to say something about this person, and then when it's all over, we're going to make John Connor say some nasty shit about you online. You see, and then it's done. You're cooked. It's over. But so it's the game of discrediting people at the highest level. So at some point, somewhere, the American people are going, this is going to sound so mean. Y'all just got to pick a lie and stick with it. Just pick one. And this is the story we're going with. Okay. Are you going to live and die for that? I don't know yet, but can we at least just pick a story? Because there's too many narratives that are concurrently running all happening at the same time, which that might be done by design. That might be done on purpose, because it keeps the American people divided quite eloquently, I might add. You got the rainbow, you got the different formats of civil rights movements, whether it's women or black women or fucking gay women. Like, God knows now, like, I don't even know anymore. I don't even ask, right? And then there's just all these other things that are taking place, and it's all happening at the same time. It's all happening at the same time again. If someone would have told me that this was going to happen, oh, buddy, I'd have got myself just a little bit more prepared.
And like Zero just pointed out a few minutes ago, we already have robots being made for civilian use. Tin Man, what's stopping them from allowing the machines to control more than what they already have right now? Okay, again, a mark of the beast type system. Look at China. They control what you say. They have the digital ID. Yep. They have the surveillance grid in place. They have the social credit score. You say something out of line, you do something out of line, you eat too much of any given product, you drive too much, your social credit score goes down and you're limited on this, that, and the other. Who's to say that can't happen in the United States? And you got people like Elon Musk who profess to be Christians and say, yeah, fucking with AI is fucking with the demon, but yet goes and does it and sits there and plays Legos with the goddamn thing. It's like, what are you thinking, bro? Trump sits there and sends money to Israel endlessly and is strongly supporting, both financially and morally, or at least, for lack of a better term, of the rebuilding of the temple in Israel, which would bring about the coming of the Antichrist, biblical prophecy. And these people profess to be Christians. Like, why would you do this? unless you're trying to bring about the Antichrist system. Why would you bring anti-Christian ideology into your Christian country unless you were trying to circumvent the Christian country's theology and its culture?
Well, see, Americans, the first thing Americans have to do is remember they're not a Christian country. They never were. According to everything that I've ever understood about the creation of the American country, it was all of the Masons and all of the Illuminatis and all of those who fought. Okay, I know it's going to sound stupid, but like, what happened in what was the year there that you guys seceded in? And like, it was the Great War of Independence. What day was that again?
1776, July 4th, 1776 was the signing of the Declaration of Independence.
Okay, so a big thing about that, right, is that like when you guys were going like against the king, when you guys were fighting the king, you were fighting the king and the Catholic Church, right? So it's like you're just in its conception, the United States of America was founded by those who were persecuted by the Christian theology. Regardless of how I feel about Jesus and how I like the ideologies, and I take my time to research and understand the eschatological aspects of all three religions, and I dabble in the
again. You're talking about expansionist culture. Follow me or be punished.
That's
Catholicism, right. From the Crusades on up, regardless of whether there were justifications for the Crusades on account of Muslim expansionists, as is now being propagated, which may or may not be true. I wasn't alive back then. I wasn't Beetlejuice. I wasn't alive during the Black Plague and had a pretty good time during that. I wasn't that guy, so I couldn't say what the culture was for that time. I couldn't tell you what the political, social, and religious factors were of the cause of the Crusades.
Well, I
can say definitively that based on what we see, expansionist culture, one way or another, whether you like it or not, Catholicism, stemming from Rome collapsed, turned itself from a country and a political monarch to a religion, which was the Roman Catholic Church, then became the Church of England, and then England became the expansionist culture. It was just Rome rebranded.
Yeah.
And then you
have the Council of Nicaea.
You have the colonials.
That's the Council of Nicaea that you just described. And that happened this is the fucked up thing too about the Christians and the Muslims, you see. 300 years after Christ died, the Council of Nicaea took place, and everything you just discussed happened. The whole marrying of the church and state and the Roman Catholic and all that stuff. Okay, that's when that happened. And then 200 years after that, so 500 years after Christ died, right? So 200 years after the Council of Nicaea, that's when the Prophet Muhammad had the great, amazing vision that literally made him look at the Christians and go, yo, you're doing it wrong. Yeah. Where the Prophet Muhammad will say, you're not supposed to be praying to the stone altar of Jesus in front of the church. You're supposed to be praying to God directly, just like Jesus prayed to God directly. And so I'm like, I get it now.
And that's where Protestant Christians really wanted to divert from Catholicism.
But that's not a thing anymore. That's not a thing because the protest has been resolved. Like literally, the Protestant religion is not a thing anymore. They've reconciled.
Yeah, well, you still have the results from the Protestant movement. Martin Luther, who defected from the Catholic Church and renounced his priesthood, formed the Protestant movement, which resulted in Protestants, Lutherans, Methodists, Baptists, so on and so forth.
Well, now that it's been reconciled, there's a strong possibility that any one of these Protestant martyrs, we'll call them martyrs, they could attain sainthood now. Now that the protest has been resolved, and literally they're not arguing anymore. Protestants are Protestants because they're protesting the way that the Catholic Church was running, and the Catholic Church has changed its ways. Therefore, the Protestants are no longer protesting. You see where I'm going with this? So, like, they've reconciled. So, the people who lost their lives and lost their priesthood and lost all of these things, they stand a strong possibility of becoming named saints in the future inside of the Roman Catholic faith, which would only be a good thing to do, really, when you think about it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Protestant derivatives and Catholicism, it's all Christianity.
All Christianity, all Jesus. And that's so. This is what I've come to realize is that I think that the Crusades, I think all of the Christianity aspects of things, I think that they actually lost and no one ever told anybody. I think that the Muslims have always regarded us with great love and admiration for the things that we do. They probably shake their heads a whole lot, but there's far more Muslims in the world than there is Christians, or just literally they outnumber the fuck out of us, bro. Like we'll put Canada, Mexico, and the United States together. We'll just lump all of those bodies because we need all of those motherfucking bodies. Okay. Yeah. There's still more Muslims in the world than there is all the fuck of us. So if they actually wanted to like do the bloody blood and chaos and like let's just get it on, and they trample us. We have weapons, they have weapons. Like it would be downright biblical. I'll tell you that. Like it would be one for the ages.
It's like a cultural takeover. The whole because Jones would show videos of neighborhoods where they're playing the Muslim call to prayer on loudspeakers in these neighborhoods that starting at 5 o'clock and ending at midnight, and so on and so forth. And you hear about all these alleged Muslim attacks. Mostly what I'm seeing is, Black Lives Matter and groups, more or less like leftist groups, like whether it be the trans shooter of Charlie Kirk or the quote unquote black guy, for lack of a better term, that stabbed that Ukrainian girl on the bus. That's primarily what we see in the United States. But in Europe, apparently, it's African and Muslim that are doing most of the attacking. And
because they brought the war home. They brought the war home. Because at the other side of the world, I'm almost guaranteeing you that those two cultures are mortal enemies. And now that they're found on the same playing field, the rules of engagement never changed for them.
Yeah, and now like far left is embracing this ideologies, like LGBTQ is embracing Muslim ideologies. Like you do know they are very anti-homosexual. You oppose Christianity because they adhere to the ideas of Mosaic law, which said one man, one woman, yada yada yada. Anything else is an abomination to God. Okay, so you're pissed off Christians for that shit, but yet you're embracing Muslims who will actually kill a motherfucker over that shit.
Yeah, y'all read about a law and think it's nice, and the Muslims execute that law and think you guys think they're mean. You gotta pick a side, bro. Pick a fucking lane. You can't read the Bible and say, "Oh, that's nice," and then see a culture over there still doing it and go, "Well, that's just barbaric." You can't do it.
And I'm not implying barbarism or anything. I'm just saying it's a hypocrisy from the left. Oh, we hate Christendom because of this thing, but for saying this thing, but I'm going to embrace the Muslim culture who will actually kill me for this thing.
Yeah.
I'm mad at the pastor for speaking on a loudspeaker and denouncing my sexual orientation, but I'm going to embrace the Muslim whose culture is notorious for, I'm not going to fuck around with you. I'm not going to preach at you. I'm just going to kill you.
So remember the last time I was on the air with you?
Because that's my law.
You asked this question: could the expansionist religions live together? Okay, and I said yes, and I thought, because we just segued into it here. We fell right into it.
Yeah.
Where I said yes. I said as long as everybody knows who they are. Okay, and what you just explained there is a huge proponent of not knowing who the fuck you are, because LGBTQ should know that it is not the Islamic flag that is going to stand by your side. It's just not. Actually, it's the Star of Remphan. That's your guy. That's who it is. That's just your entire livelihood, your entire culture that you choose to be. I understand you would like to be embraced by the brothers and sisters in Islam because you'd like to hide, but it's okay. You got to figure it out, bro. You're Jewish. No one's going to hate you for it. Or apparently it's against the law for us to hate you for it. So why are you guys trying to hide under the Islamic banner? Why don't you guys take the rainbow to the Star of Remphren, which is exactly where it belongs, and ask for protection from AIPAC and watch how quickly
that's something I never understood. Like, so much of the LGBTQ community gets pissed off at Christianity for not being accepting of homosexuality. It's like, okay, to be in this club, you got to meet certain criteria. Like, okay, you want to be a part of the freaking VA. You got to have fought in a war. Okay, if you didn't fight in a war, you don't get into the VA. It's common knowledge. Okay, it to me, like, somebody wanting from the LGBTQ community wanting to be a part of the Christian community is like a black person wanting to be a member of the KKK. It just does not make any sense to me. It's like, okay, these people are strongly opposed to you. The Muslims are strongly opposed to you. Why would you want to be a part of this? Why would a black person want to be a part of the KKK? Why would LGBTQ want to be a Muslim or a Christian? It makes no fucking sense to me.
Because no one told them that Zionism holds their ideology. If the rainbow actually knew what the Talmudic views are, they would have ran and hid under that skirt real quick. Because that's
agreed.
That's who they are. Now people can wait for the next round of hate mail, because it's not going to be that I called. You ready? I can't fucking write this any easy. Okay. I don't know why they're going to be mad. Okay, Tin Fan? I don't know why they're going to be mad. I don't know if they're going to be mad because I said all Jewish people are gay, or if they're going to be mad because I said all gay people are Jews.
Do it.
Oh fuck! I'm tired. This is the one. That. Oh, if you don't hear from me, just remember the Tin Man has all of my past videos. You just ask him a question about what we've talked about, and he'll run it through whatever system that he has, because we have entirely too much stuff in our database. But he'll find my opinion on your question somewhere in the database. I'm almost sure of it. Another big plug that, like, you took care of in the beginning, but another thing I really want the viewers to know is that me and anybody else, we don't reach into the coffers. Like, any money that comes to the channel for Tin Man, he manages all of the financial aspects. He takes care of the stores. He takes care of getting the good ideas onto the merch. Like, we float ideas here and there if we want, and then he takes a look at it. If it's doable, he does it. If it's not doable, he doesn't do it.
Right now, I just want to point out, put your thought on hold for 1 second. I'm not trying to interrupt you, but I do want to point out that none of us are getting paid. Connor's not getting paid. I'm not getting paid. Any money made is actually being recycled back into the organization. It's going for better equipment, better website services, like StreamYard in particular. Cost over $200 for the premium membership that allows us to do all the bells and whistles, all this studio equipment. Okay, it's just money being recirculated back into the business to provide you products. I'm not getting paid. Connor's not getting paid. Revan's not getting paid. Nobody is getting paid for this. We're just putting it back into the machine.
That's right. That's the overall goal. Is that our goal was, how can we make money with this so that we don't have to put money into it, so that it can become a self-sustaining thing, so that doing these podcasts are not a financial burden on any one specific person. I don't think we've reached that goal, but I think we've at least opened the door to be able to climb that mountain. So please.
And we used to have monetization on YouTube. We have since been demonetized. And we require like 10,000 people to be remonetized on YouTube. For monetization and live streaming on Rumble, I think Revan said it's like 7 people. So currently we are not streaming through Rumble, but we're going to tell you, follow us on Rumble. That way we can start streaming through Rumble and we reach a broader audience because Rumble offers a lot more features. Like I said, we want to expand the operation. We want to grow the operation. We want to reach more people. So follow us on all the social media, YouTube, Rumble, X. Help boost the algorithms by hitting the notification bells on YouTube, sharing the live feeds, and as always, engaging in the broadcast and supporting our online store. Even if you don't buy anything on the online store, it's not going to cost you anything to hit a subscription button on YouTube or the follow button on X. It's not going to cost you a goddamn thing. And if you do buy merch, I want to run this by you. I'm thinking about maybe bringing back the Sanctuary Recovery Program. Since there are no people there, you have such a high homeless population in California, and this homeless population is not really being dealt with. Maybe trying to push towards that and donating a portion, maybe even a majority portion of all profits.
Well, you'll get more engagement if people know that you're not keeping any of the cash and that it's all going towards either running the engine on this thing or building an even larger nonprofit situation. You run the ability to gain a little bit more traction with the people. So that's totally like a viable business model. But now I'm not kidding. What I'm about to tell you is the inside raw deal. We have a man here where I live, and it's called the Humanity Project. Okay. And he started what's called the Humanity Project where I live. And he literally started it with a barbecue and some hot dogs. And he went to where the homeless were. And whether it rained, whether it snowed, whether it was good weather, didn't matter. He was there. He was cooking the hot dogs. He was giving them away for free. And what happened was people knew that he was giving them away for free. So the larger business-esque individuals that had a heart, that knew what was going on, they got behind him. Next thing you know, he's not paying for the hot dogs anymore. They're just appearing for him, and he's just got to cook them and give them away. Next thing you know, there's more money than what's required for the hot dogs, you see. So the donations now begin rolling and growing, and he has no. Long story short, what was a barbecue and free hot dogs turns into an entire addictions recovery center with a farm, animals, off-grid living, the entire nine to help the homeless. Because this is the key goal. If you build this thing, you have to follow this one parameter. Wherever you build it, it has to be at least an hour or 2 hours out of the city. Because a big part of the solution for the homeless is to remove them from the negative environment and place them in a positive one, so that they can
get well in the environment that made you sick.
And then they can get stronger and they can move back into the environment later if they so choose, or because they've been out of the negative environment and rebuilt to the very best of their own capabilities, like any other addiction center, build them up to their own best. They're not obligated to return to the environment. They can go and move anywhere else in the country and get what they would call a fresh start, right?
Yeah. And even if we don't open an organization ourselves, worst case scenario, we could partner with other organizations.
Yeah, just send the money their way.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just nice to be the guy that can cut a check.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not opposed to that.
Dude, at that rate, man, if there was money in the goddamn bank account, the amount of sports fucking teams, I mean, we wouldn't have money. We would just never have money. People would just donate and donate.
Like if we sell a $20 shirt and we take 40 to 50% of that, okay, yeah, I'm more than willing to freaking send $9 off a $20 shirt to a local charity, or somebody that we've partnered with, and then reinvest the other 60% into better equipment or promotions.
Yep. Well, what we need to do is just sell it as a good idea for rich people. Rich people are always looking for a tax write-off. They just need to know that the money's going in the right direction. So that means that if we can prove that, we got $1 million in, and then where'd you put it? Well, I gave it to the women's shelter. I gave it to the children's hospitals. I gave it to certain lower income schools that, new books are always fun, right? So whatever the case may be, for as long as the money is moving in a forward fashion inside of the colossal network known as the nonprofit organization, and anybody who understands conspiracies and so on and so forth understands that there's conspiracies everywhere in the world, including the spider webs known as the NGOs. So, but if we can streamline, if we can become one of those people that'd be like, this happened here, earthquake in Haiti. How much money do we have in the account? Well, we got like $8 million. The challenge was to spend 10. We're waiting for the other 2 million to arrive next week. Okay, well then just divert all of it to Haiti. Why? Well, there's 2 million coming in next week. We'll just start over with that. And so the ability to actually streamline and send that shit, like you have to have the ability to send money faster than fucking missiles. As soon as it happens, and there's people on the ground and they're starving and they're sick and they're this and they're that, you need to have the ability to not just send the money. And this is something that Elon Musk's problem is that he has all the money in the world. He can send it somewhere, but who's going to develop it into assets? Who's going to build the hospital? Who's going to staff it? Who's going to hire the human resource? All costs money. It's all, so you got to have the ability to send money faster than missiles so that as soon as it arrives, they're building immediately. They have teams all ready to fill these buildings that they've already built, whatever the case may be. And that, my friend, is called a utopian world.
Yeah, and you figure all these homeless people on the street and whatnot, if we can get them into shelters and get people into recovery, you're not going to need the government stepping in and going, you cost too much money, so you need to be euthanized. We need to put all these people into concentration camps and all this other shit. Okay, we circumvent and we bypass that problem. It's like, okay, we see where this is going. We're going to divert funds to prevent this from happening. We're going to pump the brakes and we're going to get these people the help they need. Without government assistance, because, government assistance usually never owns well. When the government says, I'm here to help, that's usually a bad sign. What was it Reagan said? The worst words you want to hear are, I'm from the government.
Right, like how great would it be if we could have a network of donors so fucking large that we could literally go buy up entire neighborhoods and just give those houses to the people that live in them and have a bonfire out front with the property deeds and be like, no, this is your property. Yeah, but you bought, you paid for it. Yeah, but I actually didn't buy and pay for it. All the viewers that watched us, they bought and paid for it. So this was just literally just people power. This was just people helping people.
Yeah, you can set up an LLC or a trust with all of our names on it. Nobody definitively owns it. And we can ascribe an accountant to delegate where these funds go. And hell, if it reaches the point where we get a moderate salary, passive income, whatever. Okay, I'm not opposed to that. I work full time. I don't do this to make a living. I have a full time job. I get out, I work, which is why podcasts are so far and few between, because I actually fucking work. But I do maybe want to get to the point to where, hey, I can expand the operation to where we could set up something to where if Connor wants to go live, he has a StreamYard account all his own with all the bells and whistles already paid for and ready to go. He doesn't have to worry about it. All he has to do is just open his web browser, click go live, and go.
Yeah.
Okay. Same with Revan or Tommy Bird or anybody else who wants to go live. I want to be able to give our team
fluidity.
A fluidity and just to be able to take the ball and run with it.
We're going to need it because soon too many things are going to start happening in too many different directions, and it'll be too hard for one person to cover all of it at once.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
It's no different than The local news, the weather, and the sports. They all have their own casters for a reason.
Exactly.
My goodness.
Good shit, ain't it?
It's that good Canadian bud, man. They tell you that dispensary weed's not good, but it works. It really does.
Happy birthday to me. I love smoking weed. I wish I could find some, but I live in Tennessee. They need to legalize that shit here. It's like, guys, fuck off.
I'm currently holding something in my hand that you wish you could hold in your hand. You ready?
I used to in California, but unfortunately I couldn't get a job in California, so I moved out here.
It's a receipt. It's a legal merchant receipt for purchasing marijuana. No different than when you go and purchase a bottle of beer.
Yeah.
This is what the Americans need. The ability to produce a merchant receipt for the product. That's all. That's it. Like, that's what you do to change the laws. When the law changes in the United States, if and when that law changes, there's going to be two kinds of people. Those who chase all the money attached to the flower, this, right? Yeah. Or those who chase all of the money attached to the production of things like hempcrete and the hemp wires, everything, hemp rope, I should say, everything that is hemp related, everything that the plant can make, the processing
can be reused.
Yes, because most people, they're all going to get involved with this whole like mega grow ops. Let's grow the most amount of weed possible. I love it.
Calm down, Shaggy.
Yeah, but like, what are you going to do with all of the stems and all of the leaves and all of the stuff that you just don't sell to your clients? Because if you do, you're called a bad weed dealer. So,
right.
All right. So there are leftovers, egregious leftovers. An entire plant, you only smoke 25%, 75% is in one way, shape, or form a leftover, whether it's the stalk, the stem, the leaf, it's a leftover.
Yeah.
Well, the person who builds an industry around collecting that shit for free, because no one's going to know what to do with it all when they get it, and turning it into something that they can sell. Even if it is as simple as concrete. And the recipe to hempcrete, if I'm not mistaken, is a specific amount of concrete, a specific amount of hemp, and a specific amount of limestone, nonsensical shit. And you put all that together, and you get a concrete that lasts longer than 100 years and is both cold and fireproof. Very impressive shit. Look it up, guys. That is a real deal, like what they would call a $1 million idea inside of the marijuana, the legal marijuana industry. It's actually one that's not heavily tapped in Canada yet either. Canada is still lost in the let's grow as much weed as humanly possible, man. Like we're still there. Soon we will evolve, and then we're like, but there's just so much money to be made. For instance, I don't want the Americans to follow the same trap as the Canadians. In Canada, we go to a store, we can legally buy alcohol, right? The holidays are coming, y'all are going to have a nice little bottle kicking around. It happens, right? And let's say that you don't want to do that at home. Perhaps you wanted to go out for supper and enjoy a glass of wine. Well, for as long as the restaurant has paid the licensing fees and that everybody adheres to the rules and regulations, the restaurant will gladly serve you a glass of wine under their liquor license. And if you wanted to go and enjoy an evening of loud music and dancing and flashing lights, but you actually wanted to have a drink there too, well, for as long as we adhere to the rules and regulations of the licensing, we can all enjoy ourselves and have a good time under the bar liquor license. Well, in Canada, you can buy weed at the weed store, and that's about it, bro. So there's no smoke easies. There's no ability to get a whole lot of varying edibles in the, you know what I mean? Like, yes, they do the gummies, they do this, they do that, but like, man, there's raw deal like cookies, brownies, cakes. There's some shit that you can put in weed, bro. Like it's
you can shit you put weed in too.
Yes, see. I stand by my product. So
exactly.
there's
Hell,
an entire,
maybe we'll become like the world's largest weed dispensary, the Worldwide Resistance Network.
well, there's 2 W's in there. One of them's allowed to be for weed. The world's weed
network.
The world's weed resource network.
I love it.
Not just a hat rack, buddy, and never turns off. Not even allowed to go to sleep. I go to sleep, I drink sexy. Like it's what I do.
Exactly. You got to keep moving forward, and that's what we're about, and that's why we raise these questions and talk about these topics, because they're topics that nobody else is really talking about. It's like, okay, are we in an expansionist culture where we are a Christian nation being invaded by a Muslim or a Jewish nation, or somewhere vice versa? And if so, what are the steps we can take to prevent that from happening, to where we can either all coexist, or we say, okay, the buck stops here, back the fuck up, asshole.
Well, see,
let's take the conversation in that direction now.
What we've hit is quite literally the what they call the Jewish question. Like I think literally, I think that's the wall we just hit. Regardless of
what do you do with the invasive Jew and the invasive Muslim in a Christian country?
Well, an invasive Muslim.
You already know what they do to the Christian or the Jew in a Muslim country. We already know how the Jews treat people in Israel who aren't Jewish. So, how do you handle that if you are a uniquely Christian nation? How do you preserve your culture?
Well, see, this is the big thing. Okay, give me 2 seconds. I have to blow my nose. Give me one moment. But I'm going to
rock it.
And again, it's not going to be pleasant with my answer.
Snap rocket.
All right. Sorry about that.
He's back.
So, in essence, this is the big problem that we have with this. Oh man, I can't even believe I'm going to put this out there like this.
Yes, I am having a good time. I'm having a great day.
So there's this gentleman. His name is George Galloway, and there's a few other gentlemen that think and speak in his light, and there's a few Americans too. And it pisses me off because I forget the guy's name, but he's one of the more important ones for you guys. But that's this. I have to first and foremost, I have to obviously denounce any sorts of violent aggression. It's only important to make sure that people know that I am not looking for people to hurt each other. The entire goal of this was to understand why it's all happening, the violence as a whole. Okay, because that's literally my gift. That is what I'm bringing to the world. It is no big fantastical thing. This bad thing over there happened. Why? Let me analyze it. I'll tell you exactly why this bad thing happened. And when I come back, very fucking rarely am I wrong. And that's the problem with being me on this particular context. I'm supposed to say that I don't like what the quote-unquote Muslim terrorists are doing to the European people.
Yes, stress managed. You are 100% right. World government is approaching.
Right? So I'm not supposed to say that I like these things, right? And I don't like these acts of violence. And the reason why I don't like these acts of violence is that I understand acts of violent protest in order to bring forward a particular cause. Normally, that's the one where somebody does harm to themselves, draws attention to themselves, normally with a jerry can and a match. And that grotesque moment becomes scarred in the people's life around them, and then they ask, why did that person do it? And like everybody knows why they did it, was to draw attention to this specific issue. And for a long time, that issue was the Palestinian plight. A lot of people were doing that as a shock and awe thing. The problem is this, okay, is that we are currently in the West inside of a very interesting social civil war, because there's a grouping of people that have no problem sending money to Israel. And there's a grouping of people that would much rather not send money to Israel anymore, knowing what they've done to the Palestinian people, right?
Yeah,
so that's
among many other things.
Right. So that divide has like legitimately happened now. Okay. So the thing is that, do you know who else would appreciate it? You know, like if American money wasn't sent to Israel,
shoot,
victims of Israel. So what we have to ask ourselves is, when somebody from that frontier comes to this part of the world and they perpetrate an act of violence, and then the act of violence is attributed to raising awareness to the Palestinian plight, as in to be like, this happened because you guys keep sending Israel money. And for as long as you keep sending Israel money, they will continue to happen to you. That is truthfully what I believe is happening to Europe, the West. I believe that is the form. I think that's the military approach that the world of Islam has taken. But see, this is what the spies.
It's like, okay, you're sending money to Israel, you're fucking our shit up, so we're just gonna forcing us to come to your world neck of the woods, and by proxy, we're gonna fuck your shit up because we can't have our culture, so you're gonna be our culture because you caused this problem.
Well, what happens?
Problem, money man.
And that's literally what it is. That's the foundation of what's happening here. The United States is not attacked by Islamic terrorists because they don't like your freedoms. No, it's because the United States politics funnel money to the people that are actually hurting the people that these people have sworn an oath to defend. And part of defend, you gotta ask me with a straight face, if somebody's actually doing something that's hurting my country. For instance, Donald Trump goes and does something ridiculously stupid to the point where
that's far too
common. Family starts to starve, and like, I have to go and do something now to the American president because my family's starving because of his decision making. You have to ask me with a straight face whether or not I will do something. And for national security reasons, I will not answer that question. But yeah.
Again, we are not advocating for violence. We are not saying that Connor's going to do something against the president of the United States. He's just citing
an egregious hypothetical.
He's painting a picture. So understand, Connor is not going after President Trump. Okay, so, understand that.
Right. So in essence, I have to place myself in their shoes. Okay, stop getting while I love. Okay, I have to place myself in their shoes. Where, if this was happening to my people, exactly how far would I be prepared to go? That's a dangerous question to ask individuals, because once they place themselves inside that mind frame, they start to understand that, like, if we don't give Israel the bombs, and they don't bomb the Arabs are probably not going to be very upset with us anymore, because before all of this nonsense was happening, the only people that had a problem with anything was Israel. Like, we weren't before 9/11. I really can't remember any time where I was upset with any kind of Arab. It's not a thing. It's not a thing that we are not inside of the Christian theologies of the West. We are not raised to dislike the Arabs. That's not a thing, right? So, and I'm like, man, again, then all of a sudden, and we've already covered it earlier in the broadcast.
I would agree. Stress managed America has been taken over already. Most of the world has.
Yeah.
And whether Trump's on our side or not,
this
country needs to be taken back, whether through Trump or through our own means. We need to take our world back. We need to take our governments back. We need to take our livelihoods back.
But we have to do so through the information and communication means. Because if we can't do it through the information and communication means, the violent means are normally the ones that follow. And here's the ticker for people like us. The violent means are normally used against people like us as a first draw. So in essence, what I'm trying to tell the people is that I'm going to say some shit, but if this actually gets so very dark and dirty, I won't have time to do some shit because when the other side decides that they're done playing games, people like us are the ones that are going to be, we will be the ones that are made examples of so that you guys get in line. So why do I speak so openly and freely? Bro, like, whether they take it, whether I go and see the doctor myself, whether it's just I endure to the end. Guys, I'm a terminal dude. Like, I'm not going to be here for very much longer. Got no idea how many years. Not something I think about or care about that much. So
you're just acknowledging the facts.
Yeah, so I just do the things that have to be done. I say the things that have to be said. I allow people to research the information. I'm not here telling you have to believe it. I'm trying to say, yo, I found some shit, and I don't know if knowing this helps people form opinions, but it's turning into that's the case.
Yeah. And stress managed, again, you are right. Gang stalking is a big thing. We had somebody on just, what was it, about 6 months ago to a little less than a year ago? A former TSA agent who has been a victim of gang stalking. We had her on, told us her whole story. Feel free to go ahead and backtrack through our live videos and have a watch of that video. It's a very interesting video. I think you might enjoy it. Community policies was started by Bill Clinton. Yeah, it's incrementalism.
Exactly.
And I will acknowledge that Trump has pushed back in many regards, but I question as to whether or not it would be circumventing us. It's kind of a sleight of hand. It's like, look here while this hand robs you, or it's like, okay, you thought globalism was going to be this, so I'm going to fight against that while simultaneously leading you into the real globalist agenda. That's my big fear.
Right? And
that's what scares the piss out of me.
That's the fear and power of information. The ability to sell something, anything, in a negative and or positive light. And that's why I try very hard to make sure that, like, whatever information we put out, for as dark as it is, I try to sell it in the light, meaning like that I already know that it's oppressive, that the end result is oppressive. It's very Orwellian, 1984 dystopia. I know that. Like, I'm not naive to like the
and all these things, you know, the culture clash, the color revolution, as it's called, it's all a part of the agenda.
Yeah.
Question is, what do we do about it?
Maybe for another episode.
Maybe.
I got a piece out, bro. The time is beautiful.
Yep, it's been about that time. We've been here for nearly 2 hours.
Yep.
So go ahead. Thank you, Connor. I'll go ahead and close everything out here. And to everybody who's engaged, stress managed, cursed, yes, things have moved up. Actually, 2026, we are all hooked up to the cloud. Yeah, it's a very fucked situation. We try to cover all these topics. We try to cover things that people generally don't talk about, or explore the angles that people don't generally talk about regarding issues that are front and center. We try to hit the things that slip between the cracks. And we encourage everybody, like Curse Zero, Stress Managed, everybody who might be tuning into this broadcast, to share the live feed and engage in the conversation, because I'm not when I say you are the resistance, I mean that, because it's not me, it's not Connor, it's not Revan or anybody else who might appear on the podcast. It's everybody. All of us are in this together. And we need to get the word out. We need to start talking about these issues. We need to start talking about the issues that aren't being talked about the issues that are front and center. And we need to start taking action and pushing back and making real progress, not subjective progress. So, again, as always, if you like these videos, share the live feed. Follow us at Real TWVRN on YouTube, Rumble, and X. Again, share the live feeds, hit the notification bell on YouTube so it fucks up YouTube's algorithm and makes them cry like little bitches. And again, check out the online store, TWWRN merch, like t-shirts with this banner on the back, on the front. We've got the Charlie Kirk Memorial shirts that say the truth is louder than bullets. We've got the No Strings merchandise, which is our counter protest to No Kings, because we don't want puppet politicians serving the globalists. So No Strings. Check those out. And Christmas is coming up. They'll make great stocking stuffers. The current store we use is pretty good about getting stuff out fairly quickly. Quality's pretty good. We are going for a different store, somebody that produces better quality and for a cheaper price. Not to say that these products aren't good, because you can see I have these made. They're good quality. But if I can offer you more variety of products at a better price, at equal to better quality maybe, I want to give it to you. I want to give you the best that I can for as cheap as I can. Because why not? If I can get you a t-shirt for $15 rather than $25, fuck yeah, I'm going to do it. Why? Because I'm not about fucking people over. I want to give them the best products for the best price and support this broadcast and grow this broadcast and grow our audience and grow our voice and grow your voice. I do this for you. Right now, I'm not getting paid. YouTube demonetized this shit years ago. They just demonetized that back in like 2015. So you have 10 years. I've been running my fucking mouth and not seeing a fucking dime for it. So don't think I'm doing this to try to make some money. I do it because I don't like tyranny, and I want to be able to live a life to where I don't have to worry about when I'm going to wind up in a goddamn concentration camp. So, again, support the broadcast. Hit the like and subscribe buttons. Follow us on YouTube, X, and Rumble. Check out the online store. And to that end, I'm going to go ahead and call it. Like Zero said, we're about ready to put the turkey in the oven, guys. So, again, thank you to Connor for doing this. Last time around we tried to do this, we had some technical issues, so where my audio wasn't coming through. Hopefully that wasn't the case this time around. Keep in mind, starting next Saturday, we are moving the roundtables to 11 a.m. Central Time Saturday. Following that, Tin Man TV will be on Wednesday mornings at 11 a.m. Central Time. And a buddy of mine are actually looking to do an audio-only podcast, which will be streamed here on the same platforms. It'll be more of a satire, comic relief kind of thing, because we want to try to give a little bit of levity, have some fun, and, you know, not just focus on doom and gloom. You want to give people some positivity, some hope in this world. So be on the lookout for that. And in the meantime, I ain't got nothing else, ladies and gentlemen. I'm good on this turkey. I'm putting her in the oven. So this has been the Tin Man with the Worldwide Resistance Network. If you are watching this, you are the resistance. Never forget it.